What's up, guys? I'm your host, Jonathan Klein, and today we have an awesome episode. Not only do I have one guest, but I have two. I've got Ken of LMK Reptiles, and I've got Shane from Hets. They're behind the studio, so let me bring these guys on.
What's going on?
All right, what's up, guys? I know we've been talking for a little bit backstage and everything, but if you're here in the chat, guys, say what's up real quick. I want to know who's out here. So yeah, we've got, I'm not sure if Ledka's still here, but Logan from Ledka left a comment for us. I know I had Cole on there before. Got live feed ASMR. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, guys. So, all right, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Awesome. So, man, might as well just get the show kicked off. I guess one of the first questions I kind of want to ask you guys is about your brands. How did you guys come up with your name? And, sort of like, what do you represent and what are you doing with your business and your brand and things like that? So Shane, how'd you come up with Heads and Tails? Yeah.
I'll go first. So Heads and Tails, I was just driving one day and the name hit me and I was like, oh, that's it right away. Knew. Obviously, heterozygous genes and all that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
But as far as starting breeding, I went to a pet store to get my stepson a snake, Hayden. And when we were in there, it was like a mom and pop pet store, but we were like looking and they had all these crazy morphs. Now I had ball pythons back in the day, but they didn't have any morphs like this. They were just like regular ball pythons.
For sure.
The guy showed me a banana pied and I was like, ooh, that's nice. And then I started thinking somebody else made that snake. That guy didn't make that snake. So I looked it up and I was like, where do breeders go to buy and sell snakes? I found Morph Market, looked up a local breeder, went over to their house. When I got in there, I was just mind blown. Seeing all of these snakes in these rack systems and just like how they were caring for their animals, that not only did it seem really interesting, but it also seemed like pretty easy too. I mean, obviously there is a lot more to it than I had originally anticipated. Sorry, there's a speaker. But after learning and getting some racks and investing some money into it, because I mean you can't do it without money, I'm working on basically trying to get some recessives with my codons to make decent snakes, and then I'll push them into double hets with codons in them so that hopefully I can get some visual. But now that I have Ken here, he'll tell you a little more on his end, and then
sure. I do have a question for you real quick before I get to you, Ken. I'm sorry. So how long ago was that? How long ago did you pick up your first ball python? When did you realize like, hey, I want to get into the breeding, like I want to learn the genetics, I want to do everything I can to pursue this?
I would say probably January or February of last year is whenever all of this had happened. Now I had ball pythons as a child and stuff, but it was only about a year ago, and since then it's just been a roller coaster ride, and I'm going and going trying to build my brand. I don't want it just for ball pythons. As of right now, it's ball pythons, but eventually I want to be more on the route of Brian Barczyk, where he has like the Reptarium and stuff like that, where the Reptarium, I don't know how to pronounce it. But
the Reptarium, yeah, that's awesome, man. That's pretty much how I started too. Got my first ball python in April of 2021, so like a year and a half, maybe going on 2 years now. And dude, I had no idea what I was gonna get into when I walked into the reptile shop. Like I went in there, I wanted a ball python because ever since I was a kid, I just wanted a ball python. You know what I mean? And at the time, I guess there's been morphs around, for 20, 30 years, but at the time I only knew about normals. I only knew about albinos, and I had always seen like albinos in the display cases and things like that as a kid. And like, oh man, one day I'm going to get one. So when I walked into the reptile shop, I had no idea. And the employee of the reptile shop was telling me like, hey, like if you get this, one day you can breed it to this and you'll get this. And I was like, what the heck? And he was talking about the incomplete dominance and the recessives. And I had no idea. You know what I mean? I like came into the shop with, I told him my budget was $200. I had like 300 on me so I could get an enclosure, whatever, like give or take, and I had no idea. So it's been awesome ever since, man. So Ken, LMK Reptiles, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Awesome. So how did you come up with that name? What does LMK mean? When did you get started? How long have you been keeping?
I bought my first snake in March of 2022 this year.
Gotcha.
I didn't really know where it was going to go. Me and Shane actually started talking because he had a giveaway. I didn't win the snake, but I got a friend out of it because that's my boy over there.
Hell yeah.
And he was going into that adventure, and I was just like, well, hey, let me get a couple more. And a couple more turned into a couple more, and now I've got like 17.
That's how it is. Okay.
And I'm not stopping. Like, that's just the start of it. It kind of evolved into me seeing Shane having all these codoms, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go double and triple recessive all the way.
Okay.
So I started buying double and triple recessive females and, just going from there. Now, I don't have like the so-called male to go with them in most cases. I do have a possible triple het male now, but I didn't. And it just turned into it. Now, LMK, Shane threw that out there one time. And I was like, well, dang, my daughter's names are Lexus, Mercedes, and Kira.
Okay.
So, like, I kind of went with it. I like at first I was thinking like my 3 daughters' balls or something like that. And Shane was like, man, that just don't sound right. And he threw LMK out one day, and I sat there and thought about it for a couple of days, knowing that like Shane didn't even know that was my daughter's initials. So I sat there and thought on it a couple of days, and then I just made a logo and put it out there and then started going with it. Like, why not? Let's just rock it.
For sure. So real quick, I'm going to get back to you, Ken. I just want to say what's up to a couple guys in the chats. I know I kind of pulled up some messages, but let's catch up on everybody. So we got Cole Waltz up in here. What's up, Cole? Thank you for coming out. Rock on Reptiles. Appreciate you so much.
Rock.
And we got Jeremy Warfel up in here. Thank you so much, Jeremy. It's awesome to see you join me for this live. Old Devil Ball Pythons. And we got Ken from Primal Scales. Thank you, Ken. If you guys don't know, I was going to mention this. I was going to mention this actually a little bit later in the live, but I'm going to do it now since I know he's already in here. But he is sending me a snake today, and I think we talk about this a little bit behind the scenes. But I'm getting a lavender het pied female from him, and so I'm going to start working on those lavender projects, and hopefully I grow her up, and she does really well for me. But then, the male that I'm going to get for her and, a couple of my other snakes, pretty much plug in all the lavender stuff I can into my females, is a yellow belly leopard lavender het pied male from Canova. So that's the next one on my list. And then I think maybe even after that, I'll start, I kind of want to get a lavender snow, so lavender axanthic into my collection. But
I could help you with that too.
It's I don't know, man, like something about the lavender.
I just think there's more to that. Like they hit the lavender snow, they seen it was a whited out snake, and no one really ever tried to do anything. And I know there's something that's going to bring that color out.
Oh yeah, I man, it's just lavender. Like, working at the reptile shop, back when I was doing that, I saw a couple lavenders come in. I think one of the first ones I saw was a lavender spider, and like just the way that those interact as far as like bringing out the oranges and some of the reds like on the sides, and like, man, like lavender is so much different than even just like a regular albino. Like I told you guys, I always wanted an albino, and I was planning on getting one for the longest time, but as soon as I seen lavender, like it just completely shifted my route, and like it's a more higher end albino, and I think there's so much to be done with it. I know it's been out for a while, but it's I want to be like a pioneer as far as that. You know what I mean? Like some people are into axanthic, some people are into lavender, some people maybe they're doing like the whole puzzle thing or acid or whatever it is that they enjoy. And lavender is, for me, is just awesome. So I got a question.
I also got an Xanthic Het Lav female that I'm going to put with that Lav Het Xanthic. So I'll hit that snow probably the first year.
Hey, Lucy.
Like all
what's
of the
up?
genes you just mentioned were stuff we have in our collection.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to have to work together in the future for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. So I got another question. So Shane, when you first got into it, did you understand the genetics? Like, did you understand recessives and complete dominance? Were you just buying what you thought, looked nice, or like how did you kind of get educated and things like that? And what were you buying?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do a huge shout out to a boss Reptiles. That's Aaron and Brandy out of San Antonio. Whenever I bought my first from them, he was a Superfly Het Clown.
Okay.
So like that was the first one, but we still weren't planning on breeding him at all. I still really don't have much plans for that snake.
Okay.
That was literally supposed to be just a pet snake. And then once we had went there and talked to them and, I started doing more research, obviously YouTube, I'm telling you, anybody trying to learn ball python, check out YouTube. There's so many videos of just like filling your brain with the knowledge. It didn't take me too long to figure out the differences between
old devil.
How many recessives you need to make visuals and what the chances are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So our first breeder snake was T'Challa. He's a piebald, 100% het, for example. And we were like, oh, well, we'll get, a female that's like het or something. Well, the female we got is not full grown yet. So I decided, let's get a full grown female, except for that's way more expensive. So we ended up getting just a regular pied female to go with them. However, our pied female has 3 smiley faces on it. So we're trying to, hopefully that pattern will go down into the babies. They'll be 50% het, for example. But next year, T'Challa's going to Black Betty, who is black pastel, 100% het for Xanthic, and 66% het for pied. So hopefully I'll get one of those. And the year after that, I have a pastel Xanthic I'm going to put to them. So no matter what, I'm going to end up with some Xanthic pieds on that side. That's
going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's my whole pied project. I also have a puzzle project and a clown project, somewhat of a desert ghost project going on, but it's a little
I feel that.
Right now.
Yeah. So Ken, you said 17, 18, something like that?
And I got just won my 18th off of Celtic Balls.
Oh, nice.
Came in second place on the thing that they had. And I would have been happy with the Phantom, but the old man Clown Pied or whatever, he took the Phantom.
Oh my God, I messed it up for you, man.
Thank you, John. But now I got Spider. I am a proud owner of a Spider because I wasn't going to take the Het Ultramel. So now I'm proud owner of a Bumblebee Het Clown that is 50% Het genetic stripe and possible Het hypo. I hope it proves out everything.
Yeah.
So I could thank John in the end.
I mean, it's so funny how that happened. I know we're kind of like going off on a tangent,
it's a free one, bud. Like it didn't matter.
Did you already get it sent to you, or
no? The weather's bad, dude. Like it ain't even nowhere near close enough near my house to send up in this area.
Yeah,
and then they said it's been cold there too. So it is what it is. They'll get it. I mean,
yeah.
You can only do it when they allow you.
I totally did not mean to mess it up. It's funny because for anybody who's watching and like curious about like what we're talking about, so Celtic Balls had a live where they did a giveaway. Was it like a 500 subscriber or 1,000 or something like that?
I think it was 500.
500 subscriber giveaway. They had 3 males that they gave away. I can't remember, but yeah, they were giving away a couple snakes. And I was just joking in the chat that I would like, you guys can like donate to me or whatever. And old man Pides or whatever, I told him, like, I basically said a comment in the chat that I have a Mojave female that would go great with that Phantom. And he he's like, "Do you want me to trade with you or something?" And I mean, I told him I don't have much to trade because I'm still new, but he took that one. You got the spider clown, and I mean, I hope it worked out. I was still a phantom and everything, but you know,
It'll work
I
out,
can,
bud.
you know, I can find some. Honestly, I can find something a little better on Morph Market if I really want to. So, but so Shane, so what's your collection look like right now?
17 snakes.
Okay, yeah.
Ken's trying to be me.
No,
It just happened that way.
I have like 8. Let's see what I got. So 3, so 10. I have like I have 19. So, and I'm trying to sell 2 of them. I got like a pastel female from my first clutch that I just don't have any use for. And then I've got a what else am I trying to get rid of? Oh yeah, banana lesser fire that I'm trying to sell as well. And I'm like trying to sell them for cheap, but every time someone's like, "Yeah, I'm interested," they like flake out. Like it's happened so many times, man. It's
fire, is that a male or a female?
It's a male. But the reason why I'm trying to get rid of him is because I have a pastel banana Lester Fire made and a pastel banana Mojave Fire that I made as well. The sire was a banana Mojave Fire, so I made him plus pastel, and then pastel on both ends of the Lester and the Mojave, and so I like kept those guys. I'm trying to get rid of this other guy, and it's man, it's way harder than I thought it would be, to be honest. You know what I mean? But I made a trade with my banana Mojave Fire breeder male, which he was my only breeder male at the time. I've got like a scaleless. I know he's up to age. He's been growing a little bit slower and everything, but I'd love to plug him into some females, you know, for this year, until I get something else grown up. But yeah, I made a trade for a Spider Orange Dream Het Clown and a Pastel Orange Dream Het Clown females for my sire. So I'm like, you know, eventually I'll make some good stuff for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're all about at the
year. Was this your first year of breeding?
Yeah. So I had my first clutch hatch in July.
This is probably one of the rougher years to have a first clutch.
Right.
As like the price dropped out on a lot of other stuff that was going strong and now is a little low. I think everything's always gonna come back up, you know, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think COVID was definitely a great time for people to start selling their snakes and having clutches, and you know, everybody got some stimulus money, and I'm pretty sure I spent my stimulus money on a snake or two and this and whatever. But now that we're not getting those, you know, residual checks or whatever, like I can definitely see how things are probably kicking back to normal. You know, like for us, it's probably not normal because we're like, oh man, like, you know, snakes are maybe not the same price, or there's not as much demand when you're trying to sell them. But, you know, I think we're going back to probably what it was before, you know, COVID ever happened and stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, as of right now, it's a buyer's market. And I'm sure soon it'll be back to a seller's market.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll come back. I think the big thing is exactly what you were saying, was trying to get some recessive mixed in with your codons, so that way, you know, because recessives are harder to make, so they hold value.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And yeah, so I actually was going to say this. So when I first got into it, I didn't understand the whole recessive thing. I guess I did understand like how you know, how the recessives play in, but as far as like getting visuals, they're more expensive for me. I couldn't really afford a nice visual, even if it was like a clown or whatever. So I bought a lot of incomplete dominance, and I would have bought hets and things like that, but I'm like, why am I going to pay $100 extra for a het? You know, considering like I'm still learning, you know what I mean? And I kind of regret not getting into hets and things like that. But at the same time, now that I understand what I'm doing and understand how it all plays out, understand the statistics and things like that, I know how I can play those in. And I really don't want to mess with too many things that aren't 100% het. because I really like breeding a visual to something and knowing that, hey, yeah, if you plug that back in, you're going to get some visuals out of it. But, you know, it gave me time to really consider what I want to buy and the direction I want to go. Because at first, man, like my first 10 snakes, I'm just buying this and that. And you know, like not necessarily like the best investments. So yeah, I might have a couple of pretty snakes and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a couple of them I probably won't let go of, but as far as like, and making wise investments, because I got to feed them. I can't breed my own rats right now. You know, like it's, you know, I don't know if I made the best investments, but now that I understand the whole spectrum of like, and understand like if someone's talking about a certain genetic, like I would say 95% of the genetics I've actually seen or this or that, you know, there's some new ones that come out that are kind of like more underground and stuff. But now I understand like, hey, if you plug this to this, it's going to make this, and you know, maybe in 3 to 5 years you can make this with it, and you can make these double and triple recessives. And yeah, at first I really just didn't understand like all the way, you know what I mean? But I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. So
yeah, I would say we both probably, me and Ken both probably have a couple of snakes that were like, eh. Like I got Captain Hook. He's just a normal. I did get him for free though. Albie, nice. My albino spot nose. I could do probably without her. I could actually probably do without Wheezy, my fire clown too.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a spot nose clown and I have an orange dream, yellow belly, red stripe het clown.
Oh, okay.
So, you know,
for sure.
There's a few that I could toss away or whatever, but at the same time, my first 17 snakes, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep all of these. These are all here forever.
Not mine.
Other one I might get rid of, but yeah, Ken sees it completely different. I'm just like, nah, these are mine. You know, I'll build up the rest of the collection and get more racks later.
Well, see where I'm at.
I'm replacing the males. If I make the male that needs to upgrade that clutch, and it's gone. I mean, if some of the females that I have, they're going to be here a while. But
yeah, see, that's the thing is, yeah, basically, so my first ball python was a Spark. Like I told you guys, I bought her because I had $200 on me. That's why I bought her for. And I really probably up until like a month or two ago, I had zero plans for her. Like I didn't want to plug Spark into anything. But now that I'm understanding the yellow belly complex and this and that, I'm like, the only thing I can really do is make a Puma with her. That's going to be the most visual appealing. Like now I realize I can plug in like a gravel to her or whatever.
Spectre.
You think I should plug a Spectre into Spark?
Spectre's going to blow up, in my opinion.
Okay. See, I'm going to definitely have to check that out. But I realized like she's my first ball python. Like I actually had tried to sell her a couple times. I don't think there's a lot of people interested in Spark right now, but I think I need to keep her, you know, for sentimental reason.
Super Spark.
See, that would be pretty cool.
Well, being your first one, that's definitely a good reason to keep her. But also, say you do get pretty far in the game and you got these crazy snakes coming out, you're not sure what's coming out of it. It's always good to have a lesser amount of genes in a snake to be able to tell how many, you know, like it helps prove out other stuff. Like you're like, oh, okay, that one is that, you know, this one's orange dream or that one's yellow belly, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Especially like one of my strategies as far as like breeding and things like that go, like if I get like a lower end or a single gene female, I'm totally fine with that. If she's like just Spark or if she's just Leopard or just Orange Dream or this or that, you know what I mean? Like I'm totally fine with that because in the end, like all of her well, not necessarily all of them, but she's going to make babies where I'm like, all right, that's a Spark for sure. That's brighter. That one's got, you know, a funky pattern, this or that. And I know I only plugged her into a 2 or 3 gene male or whatever it is I, you know, put into her. I just know that they're going to be valuable in the end, like especially Spark, if no one's working with it and then someone comes out with like a combination that's just mind blowing. People are going to want that demand, you know, that demand for that specific animal is going to go up.
Exactly.
And so that's why I'm trying to do the Leopard Pumas. I've seen some of those. There's not too many of them on morph market, but if you plug in Leopard to the Puma, It looks amazing, and that's why I bought that lavender, because I would love to make a lavender leopard puma, and I feel like if I can do that, like that's no one's doing that right now. You know what I mean? They're not even thinking about it.
I have to say this. So Ken has been on that as well, and I'm
Yeah.
he has been on making
But
lab
not-
albino combos.
but
People
not
are
the
sleeping on
spark.
lab albino.
The spark I haven't been, but albino highways, freeways, parkways.
Oh,
all
dude,
that.
did you see the lavender? I think it was a lavender highway that Canova made, bro. Oh my God, mind blowing. I wish I had a picture of it. Dude, I almost want to pull it up on my tablet, bro. Like I might right now, because it's one of the most amazing animals that I have ever seen. Like, I mean, everything Canova makes is just mind blowing, because he likes to take all these different directions with certain projects. But
yeah, that's kind of what I've seen, and I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but like on the older style morph market, you had them trait combos, right?
okay, yeah.
Nobody put them traits combos to recessives.
Yeah.
Like there's very little of those trait combos out there that are in a recessive. And
Yeah.
that's basically the thumbprint I was following.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can find this really quick. I think my tablet might have the old version of Morph Market, and hopefully my internet's quick enough. But I want to plug this in. So it's a lavender highway. I'm almost positive. It's either highway or freeway. But this thing is, yeah, might be a lavender freeway.
Ken's like,
Probably
"Buddy,
because
give
he
me
works
my
asphalt
secret
over
sauce."
gravel.
Oh yeah, here we go. It's a freeway. Let's see if I can. Let me pull up the high resolution picture on this.
905 Royals. I agree. Morph Market used to
Look
be
at that thing, bro.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
That's insane to me,
See, everything he
Now,
makes.
could you
is
imagine
awesome.
leopard in that?
dude. Oh my God, yeah. Leopard is
Or
one of my.
acid or something like
my-
that? You know,
yeah.
something just to.
It's leopard is definitely one of my favorite genes for sure. Like, just I think you plug it in anything and it looks amazing. So, yeah, man, I'm like super stoked to get into the lavender stuff, because like there's not a lot of stuff on Morph Market that you can really go off of. Like there's blackhead lavenders, there's a couple of leopard lavenders.
I got a blackhead female that's het for pod het lav.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with it, otherwise I'm just gonna get way too distracted. But man, there's a lot of cool things I think that have yet to be done with the ball python
so
industry.
much.
It's, I mean, especially considering that we have,
Endless.
I don't know, 200, 300 genes or something like that. Like there's literally an infinite number of possibilities.
And I've said this on a couple lives, and I'll say it again, but from Dave Kaufman's video that he put out, the ball python project or whatever.
Oh yeah, ball python movie.
Aliens are giving us more genes all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what them people say in that town, that all the traits come from. The aliens give it to us, so they're giving us more all the time.
Was against that video at first. When that video came out, he was like, "Oh, I don't know about this."
I didn't really like it.
Talking to him. Yeah, I started talking to Ken about it, and I was like, "Hey, man, he's right, and there's a lot of problems here and there, and this and that." He was like, "Oh, yeah, makes sense." Next thing you know, Ken's over there like, "Oh yeah, this guy is awesome."
I missed the part about the aliens. That changed my whole mind.
That's funny. It's interesting for sure.
That's the part that got you, Ken, was the alien part.
Yeah, alien.
Not the fact that, like, if we don't import them, that they're all just going to end up being skinned.
That's what's, yeah. I think
that's just sad. I didn't even recognize that part, because that's not right.
And considering that there's such a demand, especially like in the US, Canada, UK, things like that, for ball pythons, they're making way more money off of it now. So I think that they're starting to realize that it's an industry that's actually thriving. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing, but there's a lot of bad things that are going on over there. You know what I mean? And it's
What are we
unfortunate.
going to do if that comes over here to where the snake skins are all of a sudden worth more than the snakes?
Yeah, imagine a freaking clown pair of boots or something like that. You know what I mean? Like someone could.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I don't
it'd
know.
be pretty sad to see. Like, yeah, like a lavender clown, freaking, pied freaking
Purse
pair
or
of boots
something.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure
I
somebody's
might
doing it.
do that. I might do that to like some of my snakes that like I've had for a long time and died. Like
Yeah,
try to
like
make
something that
out of
lived
it,
out its life or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 but not kill
Or
it
just that
for it,
randomly died that, and then you could get to it soon enough. But
Right. Not kill
or
the
something
animal
that needed
for it,
euthanized because it had a kink, or you know what I mean, like.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
But I just couldn't take a healthy snake, get some size on it, chop its head off, and sell its body for freaking stilettos or something.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I hope that don't become a thing. Fashion.
It wouldn't surprise me with this world today. It just really wouldn't. Like,
I
there's a
mean,
lot of cool things going on out there.
people make anything. I mean, if people are making like ostrich freaking boots, like they're making ball python boots and ball python purses, and like literally any sort of animal, I think is probably used for its skin in some way or another. You know what I mean? It's sad. I just, if you can imagine that something is probably going on in this world, it probably is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I mean, a lot of people get on the cow industry and say, well, if you're saying that about snakes, what are you saying about, then cows? But look of how much we use that in industry. Their hide is leather. Their meat is sold everywhere. We raised that to be that. We didn't just make all these cows just to make all these cows. That's why they were made. That's their purpose. That's just like what we're breeding. They're being bred to supply a hobby. And
but hopefully it's not to supply a clothing line, which it does scare me that maybe one day people will be trying to do that, because I'm not gonna lie, we all love the patterns of all of these snakes and they would be really cool,
and when they get big, they lose their luster, their color when they get big, so it really wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Actually, now that you guys say that, okay, so hold on, I gotta pull up a chat. So Stan says albino, yeah, imagine that, man. A belt, like, oh my god, that would be the sickest belt in the world. But at the same time, what went into that belt.
Yeah, Iron Dog.
Yeah, and what's really something I thought about, but not as far as like using skin or anything like that. And this is probably the only time I'm going to say it, considering this is alive, because I really want to pursue this. But one of my sort of my visions for my brand, as far as like moving forward, and even maybe when I first started getting into ball pythons, and like even before, okay, long story short, imagine wearing a pair of socks that had like ball python print on it, but it's not like made of snake skin or anything like that. But like, imagine you throw on a pair of socks and it's like a clown print, or you throw it on, it's a monsoon print, and then you just freaking rock. You just like rock those.
If you're
socks.
dyeing cotton that colors,
dyeing cotton. It would be like a cotton print, but like as close to like visually true as you can get. You know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, I'm buying like like a leopard clown or like a Batman freaking print socks. And, everyone, maybe there's 1,000 people that would buy that, but it would set you apart as far as like style goes. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as like doing that for real, like not for me, man.
Yeah, like not with the real things, but like if a cotton print, sure.
Yeah, for sure. And even like having a shirt that had like cool prints on it or whatever, like made you look like you're wearing them. But that's kind of something I've tried to keep on the down low, just because I think that it would be a hit. Like if it's crazy to say, but like if Canova came out with like a clothing line that was like ball python print and it was like the stuff that he was making, like people would buy that. You know what I mean? So nobody steal that. Nobody steal that.
I mean, you could also do like a football like sleeve thing, like how they got those compression sleeves and stuff.
That's smart.
You could do that with one of those. And then you get people like wrapping their ball python around their arm with the same pattern on their arm. Like
that'd be pretty funny.
That'd be cool.
I'm gonna have to steal that. I'm gonna see if I can do that, Shane.
Yeah, stolen already.
That's funny. Yeah, right. But it's I mean,
there's some guy in a dark room right now writing this down.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, I'll give you a little thing that we're thinking about doing. We got to figure out how to do this, but we're gonna do ball python races.
Oh, all right.
Super boring, but kind of cool.
Okay, okay. So let's say you guys do that. Okay, so you guys, I'm not trying to take away from that at all. I just like want to plug myself in, a little bit. But so my lives, they're called League of Breeders, and I would love to find like official sort of ways to make the ball python industry stand out. You know what I mean? Like there's horse races, not horse races. I mean there are horse races, but like there's horse shows, there's dog shows.
Yeah.
There's even like hog shows, goat shows. I want to make that with ball pythons, boas, geckos, whatever the heck people are breeding. That's why I called it League of Breeders.
Like the best examples of a certain line.
Absolutely. And having different levels and stuff for like, the top guys have to compete against each other, and then the newer breeders are competing and stuff like that.
So this is this would be, if you guys are down to like talk about it, this is sort of my idea as far as League of Breeders go, and where I want to be in like a year or 2 years is, okay, so imagine you walk into Tinley or Daytona, wherever you guys want to go for your big shows. You buy your ticket, you get your ticket on, maybe something you can tear off is like or even like your ticket is like a stub for a vote for like the table. All right, so you spend, $15 to get in. And then part of your vote or part of your ticket is for a drawing. All right, so you got like your major leagues, which is like Aussie, you got Canova, you might have Billy Rose there or whatever. So there's like the major leagues, and then you got your minor leagues, which are like people have been doing it for maybe 5, 10, whatever years, people that aren't necessarily as recognized. And then you have like, I don't know if you want to call it like a junior league or this or that. It could just be majors and minors, whatever.
And what about like a trait amount? Like say like, best 3 trait snake or 4 trait snake, stuff like that. Because then that would make it so that it's kind of a more even playing field of like,
So I guess, exactly. So my idea with it would be, you walk into the show, there's like a whole booth. Let's say it's like 2 or 3 tables of people that want to put in their entries. And while you're at the show for those 2-3 days, like, all right, so best clown, best, best incomplete dominant combo, or best, so you could do like a best under 500 grams or best over 500 grams, but you're not looking at ball pythons that are necessarily for sale. Like maybe they want to sell them like a crazy monsoon or something that's going for 20, 30,000. But you're looking at snakes that people bring in. Like it could just be a breeder who's not even vending. So they walk into the show. You sign up in advance where you're like, all right, I'm going to bring in my clown that I made, or I'm going to bring in.
You got to have a reward, like a cash prize for like first, second, third type of thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. So let's say you're a breeder that wants to bring in like 2 or 3 snakes, right? So every snake that you bring in order to get them into the show, let's say you got to pay like $10 an entry, but if you win first place or best in show for that category, you might win $500. You might win $1,000. You know what I mean? Because with everybody, you get 500, 1,000 people that walk through that show. Like you could really actually have a good prize pool in there. But the thing too about doing something like this would be the fact that you've been breeding for 3 years, 5 years, maybe you had your first clutch and you just like, hit the odds. You like made the most amazing snake anyone's ever seen. You win first in show or best in show. Well, now all of a sudden your bloodlines are worth way more than just whatever, you know what I mean? Like your Orange Dream is worth, more because now you have a certificate that says, all right, my line is a good line to work with.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden people recognize your brand. They want to spend money on you and they want to buy your snakes. And all of a sudden, instead of having a hard time selling out, like you're sold out before you even have your clutches. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like a certified sort of thing. Yeah. And Stan brings up an awesome point. You could do a breeder of the year. And I have thought about that, Stan, is where every year it'd be like the best of the best in show or whatever. You know what I mean? Where like,
Right.
yeah, you're breeder of the year. And then every year you come back and be like, oh man, like, Hets and Tails won best breeder of the year last year. Let's see if he can do it again. What did he make this year that's just going to blow your mind? And I really think that it's something that hasn't been done. Like there's people trying to do it sort of like on the low. They've got their own sort of shows, like Snakes and the Fat Man has this 15 minutes of lame. Yeah. There's Chip doing the King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, King of the Mountain.
Season 5 winner right here.
Are you really?
I won.
Yeah.
Come on. So
I got my $100. Thank you, Chip.
Yeah. So I would say if we could somehow come together and make it like a real event, not just like an online thing, but where you can go and see them. It could be best show in Daytona and best of Tinley, where it's not necessarily like an online thing where you get everybody, but it's like you get a region. You know what I mean? You're defending that region. You're defending.
Yeah. And then I mean, depending on how successful it is, having the championships like in one place where regionals go against each other, and man, you could really go far with that kind of stuff. And honestly, if you guys ended up needing filler, depending on how successful Ken and I's ball python races, we're also thinking about doing rat races, like ASF races and stuff.
Okay. And I think that would be really fun for people to watch. Like, imagine you go to the show and they've got.
We can start taking side bets on this.
They've got
get an online casino license.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I want to get good enough to where we get Vegas odds on that stuff. You know, like,
dude, that would be crazy, bro. But it's like I know that the shows, or at least the bigger ones, have like the auctions and things like that go to USARK and this. Well, I mean, we could even plug in USARK too. Like if we donate like 30% of everybody who does that to USARK, where you're raising $2,000-$3,000 a show, for those guys. And then you got your winners that are winning, $500 here, $1,000 there. Like you could probably bring in a good, you could bring like a good $10K for a show. And you know what I mean? Like per weekend show. And really, have your winners, get cash prizes, $250, $500, $1,000, whatever it is. And then if we can donate to a good cause, like I don't see why it wouldn't be something where people could actually get behind it and be like, all right, so, maybe the first one's going to start in Tinley. And then, next year you've got Daytona and Tinley, then you got Arlington, then you got, all these bigger shows. Cause I think it'll be a little bit harder to do at some of these smaller shows, but, once you start getting recognition, like if I can do this and really sort of promote that, maybe have like Billy on the show, and maybe one day I'll be able to get, Justin Kobilk or something. But if those guys could be judges where they're like, really, this is what I looked for in a ball python, then like imagine getting backed up by those big breeders who say, you've got an awesome collection, like keep going that route, plug this into that. And like I said, you're going to be competing with those bigger guys, and maybe those big guys will, compete against each other, but it sort of gives anybody the opportunity to sort of outdo them. You know what I mean? Like Justin Kobilka is buying from everyday people like us. If he sees something he likes, he's going to grab it. Right. He just bought a whole, almost a whole clutch of Tornadoes, which is like a new gene that's coming out. And, I know there's Tornadoes. Yeah, and I think it's gonna be awesome. And okay, so Chris says it would work. They do it in other countries right now, so they should do it here. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense. I grew up in the Midwest in Iowa, and that's where I spent like a third of my life. And they do these things called 4-H shows, and it's like they're showcasing. yeah, so there's like, they're displaying their best pigs, their best goats, their best cows, their best chickens. And, it's interesting. I don't understand, all the qualifications for that, but for ball pythons, like they definitely need something that, I honestly think it's going to happen eventually. Like someone's just going to put in the money and they're going to invest in and get the backing and things like that. But I would love to be the person to do it.
There you
Right?
go, dude.
Another thing that I was thinking
Hey, I'll
about
throw
doing
in
once I
on it
start
for you, bro.
producing. What's that?
I said I'll throw in on it for you.
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
I mean,
I was
people
going to get a
will.
WWE belt and pass it along our breeder friends.
Oh, yeah.
And like get a circle of like 20 people or whatever, and just we vote on that circle, because you can't trust the general public. You send it to them and then they're going to send it to the next person that wins it. You know, and just
but
keep
bro,
it.
you gotta do if you're doing what he's saying to do. I would definitely recommend getting something like the Lombardi Trophy or the Stanley Cup or something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, just for a group of breeders, like not for everybody.
Well, see, here's what I was thinking about doing for like starting out, like for like, let's say I do lives, but the biggest thing that I don't want to happen is someone to put money into like Photoshop or put a bunch of money into all this lighting for snake just to make it pop, when someone's got maybe bad lighting and an awesome snake that if you see it in person, you're just going to be blown away. But so, I mean, kind of what I was thinking is maybe for 2023 year is I pick 100 breeders, you know what I mean? And those 100 breeders go at it. Sort of like Snakes in the Fat Man, I guess, if you want to say, as far as like every week you're cutting people out or this or that. But like, I just have 100 people go head to head, at the end of the year, whoever can show the best ball pythons or best in show. Honestly, I think I should have like 5-10 categories or something like that, where I don't know. I'll have to really figure that out, but it's something I've really been thinking about for a while. Let's see what Stan says. So, John, you just need a couple of people, so one person can do Tinley, one guy can do Daytona, etc. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential behind it, and I'm super excited. And
I can get
man,
Gettysburg.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, man, like, I think this is a topic that I want to bring up in a lot of my lives, as far as like, what would work and what wouldn't, and what would get backing and things like that. But I think it's an awesome idea, and I don't think that idea with me is ever going to die. I just hope that I have the motivation and drive to do it, because I think there's a lot of people, especially like big breeders, that would support something like that, where yeah, you can get somebody in there that's only been doing it for 5 years, yet they're pushing out, whatever clutches that are just fire, man, or they're working with genes that nobody's working with. You know what I mean?
So are you naming it the League of Breeders? Is that what you're gonna name?
I would like to, man.
Yeah, that's a decent name. I like it.
LOB.
I mean, it's
wow.
Yeah. But see, I guess also too is, I would say, like, let's say next year I got this going and I had like 2 or 3 shows per year that I could actually do like a Breeders' Cup or whatever, is eventually there's going to be bearded dragon guys that want to get in. There's going to be tegu guys. There's going to be boa guys, and I mean, and so I think it's finding like the right judges for those things. People that have been, so it's like there's boa guys, there's colubrid guys, there's I mean, some of those guys want to keep genetic lines like super clean, but like me, if I look at a bearded dragon, I'm not going to know. I mean, I could tell to an extent maybe what's in it, but then there's some guys like, oh, well, look at the spotting on the belly, or look at the way the tail is, or this or that. I'm like, like, I think it eventually I'm wanting to give opportunities to other sort of classes of a species of animals. There's, I mean, however it works, I mean, like the prize pools might be lower at first, but I think, like I said, if you can put in an entry towards a specific animal or class, like, then like ball pythons are probably going to blow people out of the water. But if you are breeding ball pythons, that's your best chance of winning like a huge cash prize. If you're breeding bearded dragons, maybe it's going to be half that or a third of that cash pool. But it'll still give somebody an opportunity to showcase what they got.
Yeah, and I mean, well, especially if they're able to have different categories, and then possibly at the end they all go against each other, it might actually be retic guys that end up taking that out. Because people love huge snakes, you know?
Dude. Yeah, it's it's definitely something I think that I need to keep working on and really pursuing. Like, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but the thing too about the league, the League of Breeders, is like, it's not just, it's more like we gotta come together. It's not gonna work if nobody's in it, together. I think it's gonna work best if you got 100, 1,000, 2,000 breeders all throughout the country. They're like, bro, like, I'm going to Tennessee, like, I'll see you there, like, best of luck. But it's like, it needs to be a community as well. And that's what we have, like, online. That's what we have with YouTube, but it's got to be at the shows too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's a good idea. And actually, like, when you were saying, like, doing it at the shows and this and that, and I was like, oh man, we could literally have the races at the shows too, Ken.
Yeah. You really could, man. Like, I could
advertise, and you could bring your snake. Then we could have other people in on it.
And you don't even have to have a good looking snake necessarily. You can just freaking win.
Have a snake that knows how to crawl down a tunnel.
Hell yeah. I think that's pretty awesome. And
maybe a spider will win.
Yeah, right, for sure.
Maybe I'll wobble it.
Yeah.
Maybe that wobble will give him a little extra boost.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe. I mean, it's I think there's a lot to be done, because I mean, you go to a show and there's, like, honestly, the past, like, 3 or 4 shows that I've been to, I'll go around looking for something I want and I can't find it. And then there's, like, maybe one table that's just got some bomb fire stuff, you know what I mean? But I know there's people that are just walking around that have some really cool stuff at home. You know what I mean? Or
well, and I think you're onto something huge here, because, like, when we're going to shows and stuff, if you're not specifically buying, it doesn't keep your attention too long. You know, you make a cruise through, you see everything, and you're like, all right, I'm out. But if you had, like, events coming up and stuff where it's like, oh, we got the next race, or, the next pick for the League of Breeders is coming up here, and, like, it just keeps people more involved. Like how you were saying, those Triple H shows, is that what you were calling?
4-H. Yeah. Yep.
4-H shows. Oh, actually, they have those here too. Dang.
Oh man, so Eden just came. There's so many people that came in. Like, we got 18 people right now. Eden just stopped by. I want to say what's up. What's up, Gio? He's if you guys are reading this, he says, stopping by to say when your single gonna drop. Need that heat in my playlist. Oh man, dude, I just did this freaking stupid. You know how everybody's doing, like, the AI art type thing?
Yeah.
Dude, so I did that last night. Plugged in some pictures and stuff, and it made a bunch of, like, AI stuff for me. I regret it because I paid $12 for, like, I thought I paid for the app, like $12 for the app. You get, like, you plug it in every time, you get, like, 100 different pictures. No, you just plug it in, and it gives you 100 pictures for that $12, and you got to pay again if you want another 100, or you pay like $8 or $9 for like 50 or something. I did that. One of them came out with me, like, kind of like in a hoodie, or like this, like, leather jacket with, like, my chest bare and stuff. And it looks like I'm like, last night he sent me a message saying, like, bro, it looks like you look like one of the members from NSYNC. And oh my god, dude, I just lost
I thought
it,
you looked
bro.
like a pretty boy, you know.
Oh my god,
that pretty boy, ain't he cute?
It's hilarious, bro.
It was pretty good. I got a chuckle out of it.
Yeah,
I'll admit.
I mean, some people, yeah. I mean, it's cool, I guess, for the moment, but I to pay for that every time is just dumb. Like, I don't, whatever.
Hey, you live, you learn. You know, you find out what's worth it and what's not.
Yeah. So okay, so let's kind of shift the conversation. We can always come back to that and stuff. But are you guys working with any other animals besides ball pythons?
Not me. James got that covered.
Yeah. I'm not really breeding too much else. I have some axolotls. Those I
nice.
do breed a little bit.
Okay.
I haven't sold any though because they keep eating their babies. I need to.
The axolotls do, or what did you say?
Oh yeah, the axolotls will absolutely eat anything in front of them.
Really?
So I gotta separate them, but I wasn't ready for the babies anyway, so I was just like, all right, fine, do your thing. But
yeah, I feel that.
And then I got a bunch of cichlids and stuff. I do have some cichlids that have bred, some Kyogre flamebacks, and I think a Libidochromis bred with something else in the tank that's not the same as it, because there's some weird fish in there recently. I have some other animals, but they're not. I'm not planning on breeding them. I just gotten an emerald tree boa. And then I had just gotten a citrus beardy as well.
Nice. And, I love those.
Yeah, and for a while now I've had Xena, my tegu. She's a black and white and black and white and red mix, so they call her a fire tegu.
Oh, okay. How is the personality of your tegu? I know some tegus, depending on like the line or the species, I don't know if that's like the correct term. They could be feisty or they could be like super chill. Like I know like gold tegus like that I've worked with in the past, or just have crazy, like they just want to like, they just got crazy ass personalities, and like I don't know. It takes a lot of socializing, I would assume.
Definitely a tegu, no matter what, is gonna be crazy. Like in some aspect. Like mine is pretty flighty. Yeah. But also she gets pretty tough at times. But I mean, I'm not a bug, so she's not too tough towards me. But if you're a bug, oh man, you're in for it. But she's bit me before, and like, because I was feeding her and she didn't realize she bit me. As soon as she bit me, she let go right away and was like, ew, what was that? You know? But,
for sure.
As far as like biting me while holding her or anything like that, no. She's real flighty though, so I'm waiting until she's older so that I can like take her for walks and stuff. Other than that, I have a pretty big enclosure for her, but I put her out in the tent with me and just hang out there with her. But yeah, I hang out there with her a lot. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, she man, I would love to
all carnivore. Yeah. She does not like any veggies, so I always got to supplement her food with like calcium and stuff like that, because she doesn't eat veggies.
I feel that. Have you had those other animals before ball pythons, or like did everything kind of fall together at the same time?
We didn't have any animals. Well, no, we had the cichlids and the axolotls. We were all about fish for a while, but those were just our fish to keep, you know.
Yeah.
I have a community tank, a cichlid tank, and then the axolotl tank. But those were just our hobby of like, oh yeah, we like fish. And then the tegu we got after we got all 17 ball pythons. I was like, I can't buy more ball pythons right now. I need to wait. I'm out of rack space. I don't want to keep going with this. I gotta breed something and sell something before I can put more in. But I'm still addicted to buying reptiles. Hence the tegu.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got I guess it's been a while now, but I have a baby Savannah monitor. And I can't wait till he's up to size, but I love the fact that I get to watch him grow and this and that. But I had a bearded dragon before. I had 3 tiger salamanders that I found like wild basically at my work, and I brought them home. They were fun. But man, I got rid of my bearded dragon because I really wanted to focus on the ball pythons. But as far as like moving forward in the future, I really want to expand into other species and things like that. You know, as far as like the Ankle9 sort of brand goes, like it's not just about ball pythons. Honestly, before I've been sitting on Ankle9 since I was like probably like 13 or 14. I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about this before, but
your dictionary then.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I found it in a dictionary. Like I just thought it was an awesome word. Kind of it sort of like spoke to me. I've kind of been putting my own twist on it. But it's 2 species that basically cohabitate together. you have like your host, and that's why every single live when I come on or every video I do, I'm like, oh, I'm your host, John from Inquiline, and tonight we blah blah blah, is because the host is not necessarily the Inquiline, but the animal that is like maybe sort of like the lesser or like the cohabitant is the Inquiline, and it finds space or room to live with a species, another species. And I actually found out recently that an Inquiline can actually even be an animal that makes room or like its home in a plant, like let's say like a cactus. Like it can dig into a cactus, have its nest or whatever, but the cactus isn't necessarily harmed by it. Like it's not going to die, so kind of my whole goal is to be able to really represent a lot of different species, because like there's just, to me, nature and animals and everything in this world is awesome. You know what I mean? So like I would love to expand to more monitors. I would love an Asian monitor, Asian water monitor. I would love a tegu. I would, maybe one day I'll get a dwarf caiman. Like there's so many different things I want to work with and learn about, but right now it's just not the right time. But I know you said you wanted a sort of like reptarium. Like, what does that look like? How does, moving forward, like, do you have any goals for that, or is it like what?
Well, as far as like the breeding of ball pythons, I'm still going to be doing that, much like Brian Barczyk does with BHB.
For sure.
But I do want to kind of take some of that money from the ball pythons, not just invest it all back into the ball pythons, but invest it into other animals and stuff like that. And I'm pretty handy, so I'm trying to make as many enclosures as I can and stuff like that.
Me too.
So hopefully one day people will just want to come over to my house, because I have so many awesome different species of animals and different setup. And then eventually, once I get going, I can buy a building and have it open to the public. I'd like to do like more of a where you can like feel that, touch the animals and stuff, like more of a interactive type of zoo type. Where I'll have like specific animals that I know are good with people, and we can have kids in this area or whatever playing with these and stuff.
For sure. Ken, do you have any sort of plans like that? Like, do you plan to expand beyond ball pythons, or grab any other animals in the future, or what does that kind of look like for you? Is ball pythons the game for you?
Sooner or later, I'm going to add more, but like the immediate future, I'd say till like 5 years out, is just ball pythons.
For sure. Yeah, I understand. I honestly think that's where the money's at. That's where my passion is at. Like, I would love to have other animals, but if I get other animals, it's going to be like a breeding pair or maybe 2 breeding pairs, and that's it. Like, if I would love a retic, but I really got to do my research. No.
Too bad.
And we'll see. That's why I cannot do that right now. I love to, but if I get a retic, I'm only getting a breeding pair. Like, that's it. So if I do invest in those guys, I'm gonna get the best genetics that I can get.
I say about 5 years, because
they're
my youngest
basically
will be 18 and I'm moving south, and I'll probably end up down near Shane. Then we'll get into retics and berms, and we got 2 people together.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing.
Ken don't want to do retics, but I'm gonna make them.
No, I don't want to do retics myself, because I know me. I'll end up getting that thing wrapped around my neck because I'll trust it too much.
I feel that.
He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to kill it, chew through it to get out.
Oh man, that's honestly so I have worked with like retics, but they've all been babies. And like when you go to like the shows and stuff like that, sometimes people will put a full-grown adult retic on display, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, I could never do that by myself. Like, I have a friend who has, actually, I've got a couple of friends in the area that have retics, and one of my friends, and I've even asked Nicole from Leage Exotics about this too, is I'm like, hey, Nicole, my friend bought a retic. He said it got to 11 feet in the first year. I'm like, is that normal? Did he overfeed it? What's the deal? She's like, no, that's she's like, that can happen though. where they can get 11 feet in a year. I'm like, I'm not ready for that at all. Like one bite from that thing, like especially if it's in like a feeding response mode, you're done for, bro. Like you're probably going to go to the hospital that night.
No, thank you.
But I think they're awesome. But I just, you have to do your education. You have to do your research to make sure that it's something you can handle. I think a lot of people will buy like a foot and a half, 2 foot, like little baby retic or anaconda or something because they really want to get into it, and then a year later, like they have to get rid of it because they can't handle it.
Right.
So it's I think people need to know what they're getting into when they get into it. But people like us who like this is our life, I don't see an issue with it. You know what I mean? I think we all know how to approach it and sort of what steps we got to take to make sure that it can live a fulfilling life and stuff like that. But it's fun, man.
I would say so. Getting a retic it's not such a bad idea for me, seeing as I already have a tegu who needs a 8x4x4 enclosure.
Yeah,
that's the same size enclosure a full-grown retic needs.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, stack one on top of the other, I'm good. So once Ken gets down here, then I'll do it. But yeah, I'm not going to do it by myself.
It's too dangerous by yourself. I mean,
it is. Yep. I ask everybody who owns a retic, I'm like, do you handle them by yourself? And I would say the smart ones tell me no, because you need somebody there to spot you or to help you or whatever.
I mean, I think Lady Tiff does hers by herself, but hers are always in the house and everything,
She's socialized them.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
She knows what she's talking about, and I know she can tell their body language and things like that. Which I think anytime you get an animal, like that's the first thing you got to figure out is like what are they feeling? What's their mood? Are they hungry? Are they are they just kind of observing or whatever? And I think with her experience, she's super good at that. And I think when I buy my first one, I'm probably going to buy from her, to be honest. So I'm really excited.
Be a bad purchase.
Yeah. And I know she knows what she's doing, and if I ever have questions, I can always ask her. So
absolutely. I mean, and I do very badly want one, but Tamara is definitely not going to help me at all. And then I got Rain. She's only 8 years old. That's a snack for a retic. So I'm like, no, I gotta wait until Ken gets here. Otherwise,
Tamara agreed with that. Not helping.
Yeah. So this is so bad. So each of you guys, where are you guys living again? I probably asked. We probably already went by that. But so Shane, where are you at right now?
I'm just outside of San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, Texas, gotcha. And Ken, you're in what, Pennsylvania, or?
Yeah, I'm near the middle of Pennsylvania, near State College.
Gotcha. And so you do potentially plan on moving to Texas, or like is that like something you're trying to work out?
That was something that was in the works before I even started talking to Shane. My mom's whole side of the family is from Texas. I was born in Texas. Like we moved here when we was 3 months old. In Pennsylvania, down towards Pittsburgh. Moved up this area of Pennsylvania when I was like 21. But I always said I wanted to go live the last part of my life where I was born near Texas.
So I was actually born in Mesquite, Texas. So I lived in like the Dallas, Plano, Rowlett, Fort Worth area. Like I grew up there, only until I was like 8. But I mean, that's where my childhood was. And like, I'm so proud to be a Texan. Like as far as like my dad's a Texan, my brother's a Texan, my dad's family's all from Texas. Like, and my mom's family, she's from like the Chicago, Illinois, like Waukegan area and everything. But
Waukegan? Nice, dude.
That's where my mom's family's at. Yeah.
So I was born in Elgin, Illinois.
Shoot, that's my last name, bro.
No kidding.
My full name is Jonathan Scott Elgin. Yeah, that's my full name.
So I was born in Elgin, raised in Carpentersville, ended up moving out to McHenry for a while, lived in Lake Geneva for a long time, out in Wisconsin, Yeah, dude. Yeah, same type of area. And then probably like 6 or 7 years ago, I moved down here. And honestly, I love Texas, man. It's so much it makes me kind of think of like it's weird to say, but like back home up north in the 90s when like there just wasn't as many like, I don't know, I feel like you're just always being told what to do and stuff up north. Now there's so much more restrictions than there was whenever I was a kid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And down here it seems very similar to that, where it's like, you leave me be, I'll leave you be type of thing.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that I love about Texas is they're super advocates for like human rights and like freedom of speech and, you know, Second Amendment and this and that. Like, I mean, I grew up that way. I grew up hunting and fishing and this and that. And like, I think that's how I got into reptiles and ball pythons later in life, is the fact that I grew up in Texas, because like, man, like people should be able to exercise their rights, you know? And I just think Texas, like it's funny because growing up, you'd always hear like Texas should be like its own country, or like, you know, this or that. Like it's basically a whole nother world. And I'm so proud of that, for the fact that like Texas will be the last one to buckle or fold under pressure. Like if they have to, they'll break off from the United States if the United States becomes California. You know what I mean?
Hey, and before you say too much, you weren't here like last year, or was it last year or the year before?
Oh my God.
But we had that snowstorm. Our entire power system got shut down for like 2 weeks. People were freezing to death. Like,
dude, I
can't
imagine that.
We're not as awesome as it seems. But I will say, like, whenever I first came down here, I thought for sure, like, I don't know, Texas was full of a bunch of like Yosemite Sams. You know? Like,
I get it, yeah.
I was thinking cactus and all this other stuff. I mean, there is some cactus, but there's a lot more trees and greenery here than I originally thought. I figured it was like desert. Not.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. I love Texas, man. I haven't been back there in probably like 15 years. But I know it's like, I live in Colorado right now, and if I were not to live here, or if I don't retire here or whatever, like Texas is a place I know that I can go and, you know, live out the rest of my life or whatever. So, and I think there's still a lot of opportunity in Texas. You know, it's such a huge state and stuff. So,
hey, if you're ever in Texas and someone says "bless your heart," it is not a compliment.
No. Yep. It's so funny. I think about that a lot. Yep. I don't know. I probably saw something on like YouTube or TikTok, and I'm like, oh my God, like, yep, that's exactly how it is. Like, I'm just trying to think of like a good context. Like, oh my gosh, they keep retakes, bless their heart. Like, you know, like it's like they're really trying to insult you. Like they don't like retakes at all or whatever. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. It's just like, all right, you know, all right, bless your heart, but like they really mean like
you know how the gas pump works, bless your heart.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yep.
And to me, I don't know. Me and Tamara were talking about this. My mom doesn't feel this way, but like if somebody tells me like, oh, have a blessed day, to me that's like the same thing. I'm like, what? You know, like I'm getting mad.
That's
like,
funny.
Man, you have a blessed day, bro. You know?
That's funny. That's funny. So
may the Lord bless you. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I get all mad about it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. They're fighting words, as Tamara says.
Yeah. Yep. So I want to ask both you guys. Sorry, I'll keep that up there for a second. So where do you guys see yourselves in about like 5 years? You know, maybe going into like 10 years. Like, where would you like to be? And what does your collection look like? Is it like 50, 100? Are you looking to have like a facility of like 200 or 300? Like, what does that look like? Like, I mean, Ken, are you going to be in Texas in 5, 10 years?
I could see myself being down there in 5 or 10 years. And I mean, what am I bringing down when I'm coming? 200-300 snakes, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm growing until I can't stuff no more in this place. And then when I can't stuff no more in this place, I'm going south and we're going to stuff them in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Yep. And what about you, Shane? What does like the immediate future look like? sort of, yeah, like 5 to 10 years?
I would say 5 years. My collection will probably have tripled or quadrupled by then, but it's not going to be super crazy.
Mm-hmm.
However, from that 5 to 10 year mark, that's really where all my genes and stuff will start to be really coming together, as you know, like my double hets will be pairing together at that time, and
Yeah.
I'll start to be able to make double, triple recessives with 3 or 4 codoms in them. And then Ken's going to be coming down during that time, so that'll help me be able to not just because me and Ken will be using each other's snakes and stuff like that as well, but not just to expand our collection, but possibly expand into a building. I mean, the 5 year mark to the 10 year mark it could be, hopefully it's a whole business and a building and all types of that by the 10 year mark. By the 5 year mark, I think I'm really just going to be stepping into the right shoes.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I think that's where I am too, sort of. I mean, I think it's going to be better if you guys actually do come together and start putting your collections together. Because, like, man, dude, like 2 heads is better than 1. You know what I mean? That's just what people say.
That's why we started doing it like this.
Yeah, for sure. So
and it works out with the whole, like, I feel like me and Ken are kind of like the same but different, like yin and yang type of thing.
Sure.
Where we kind of balance each other out and stuff in a lot of ways as well.
So okay, so now that we're talking about that, how did you guys meet, or how did you guys get connected? How did that relationship come about?
This man stalked me until I talked to him.
Okay.
Come on now. That's what you're going to go with?
Nah.
That's funny.
Nah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Shane had a giveaway. And
oh, yeah, that's right.
And we just started talking from there.
Nice. So, okay, so you guys do have a show together. How long have you been doing it? And yeah, how's that show going so far?
Tomorrow's episode 14. So, I mean, 14 weeks we've been going.
Nice.
I'd say the last month and a half, we've been gaining like at least 5 to 10 more people per week.
Okay.
And it's going good. It's picking up. It's going good.
Nice. Do you guys go ahead, Shane?
Oh, and we're actually booked for quite some time right now. We've got quite a bit of people on here lined up, and it's
big names
really
too.
Starting to pick up some steam to the point to where we keep finding new people, and we're like, oh man, we might need to get a second show going just to be able to showcase all of the stuff that we have going on and different people we're meeting and want to put out there.
Yeah. See, I have thought about that. Like, I mean, I know I'm only in, I think you guys are episode 3, 4, if you want to count the hot chip challenge, but it's like I have so many people that I could line up. Like, if you think about it, you only got 50 something, 52 weeks in the year, something like that. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you guys can think of way more than 50 people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And literally anybody you ask, like, will probably have an availability, within like 2 months. You know what I mean? If you really wanted to. So it's really cool and interesting because I feel like I've only been really like, I've been trying to plan like a month, 2 months in advance. Like, basically how I'm trying to line my stuff up is do it quarterly. All right, January through March. Like, at the end of this year, I'm starting to line up people for like 3 months at a time. And I think that's going to be super easy to fill. And then,
I started backing off lining up because we're out to like the middle of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's
we got to kind of wait a little bit right now.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. And so who is like your favorite guest you guys have had on, and who is either a guest you're going to have on or like a guest that you would love to have on in the future, like in the next year or 6 months or whatever?
Well, I would say having Keys on the show was really awesome. We loved having Keys on there. All of our guests were happy came on, but I would say Keys was a really special one. And honestly, Marcus from Morphologics was really cool.
That's what I was going to say. Marcus was a really good.
I was going to say that too, because that was an awesome one.
Nice.
people were excited about coming on. Man, we got so many, honestly.
Yeah.
You name a couple, I'll name a couple, Ken.
All right. You want to go first?
All right. We got Hissy Fits and F&A Balls coming up sometime.
Oh, yeah. All right.
TNT and Chris from BNS.
All right. Yeah. It's cool, man, because like the more of involved it. Oh yeah, that's right, man. For sure. It's pretty awesome because like all the people that like we all watch each other's lives. We all try to get involved in the chat. And it's cool because you can just like the fact that you make yourself known and establish a sort of presence, even if you're just in the chats, like I was for the first year. Like people start to recognize you. They're like, oh yeah, that's that guy, or that, whatever. And when it comes time, like for me, for example, it's coming time where I got to start asking people to be on my show, and it's not as hard as I thought it would be, to be honest. Like I can ask literally anybody, and if someone says no, I can go to the next person, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll be on your show. But honestly, nobody has said no yet.
I'll tell you what, the first after episode 1, or what, we didn't start getting people to come on to like episode 3.
Yeah, we were episode 3 or 4, and then we were like, let's get some guests on here. But back to hold on, Ken, before you go there, back to that question of who we would like to have on.
Yeah.
Personally, I would say Brian Barczyk or Dave Kaufman.
Oh my.
Who do you think, Ken?
Yeah, Brian Barczyk's like my top one too.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you watch how
I wouldn't mind having Billy or even Austin.
Oh my, yeah, for real. So, dude, Jeremy has gotten Austin scheduled for 3 times. Only had him on twice because Austin has been like flaking out, I guess, every now and then, or gets busy or whatever. I understand. Some of these bigger guys, like it's hard to find a time slot that works for them. And yeah, I just seeing Billy come on so many people's different shows and Austin go on people's shows. I think I saw Austin do 2 or 3 different shows of people I know in like 1 week. And I'm like, man, like I want to get established a little bit, have maybe like 3 months of shows before I start even asking big breeders. But man, like he would be an easy one to go for. Not, I don't know if you want to say easy, you know what I mean? But
but I mean, definitely an approachable one.
Approachable. That's the one.
More approachable than like
That's
Dave Kaufman, Chris Hardwick, Brian Barczyk.
Yeah, it's funny because
an actual one.
Yeah, he was actually the first. He was the first ball python breeder I ever watched on YouTube. And it's when I first started learning about like genetics and things like that, you literally type anything: banana ball python, bell ball python, clown ball python. Literally, Chris Hardwick comes up. You can't get past him. And he actually only lives like an hour something away from me.
I'm gonna say, isn't he out in Colorado? I thought so.
Yeah, he's about like an hour, maybe hour 15 minutes away from me.
There you go. Go there and do a live with him.
Yeah, I would like to. And dude, it kind of sucks.
If you go there, you gotta ask him about his filming tricks, because ever since he was on Mr. Beast's video, the way that they film everything is completely different.
Wait, like, what? Mr. Beast? What are you talking about?
Brian Barczyk was on Mr. Beast video.
Oh, with the bathtub full of snakes. I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking about Chris Hardwick for a second.
No. Yeah,
but I seen that. Yeah, yep. Brian Barczyk was on Mr. Beast. I saw that video. They all had to lay in a tub of ball pythons, and I was laughing my ass off because like they're all freaking out and everything. I'm like, bro, like I think if you aren't into reptiles or snakes, you're like, oh my god, that's so dangerous. And then you get like a ball python, you're like, bro, like I could lay in a bed full of thousands.
You could have done anything you wanted to all of those snakes, and they're like, oh, sorry,
pick them up, like whatever you want to do, man.
Absolutely. And
I did see that video.
Terrified. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
I think that's funny because I've
noticed after that video, the way that his videos start showing up, like his editing and this and that, all that stuff, really changed. And I would say, like, so as far as genetics and stuff go, man, watching Chris Hardwick, that was absolutely huge. But as far as learning how to like kind of capture people's attention and stuff, I'm noticing Brian Barczyk is a lot better at that, you know?
For sure, yeah. I think for the first, let's just say, yeah, like a good 6 months for, you know, for a solid year, I was watching all of Chris Hardwick's videos. There's probably not many that I haven't watched. And he conquered the algorithm, man. Like whatever he did, like it just worked. I don't think anybody goes on their show, or not shows, but like makes videos where they're just scrolling through Morph Market, like, all right, this is a clown leopard, this is a clown acid, this is a clown lesser, you know, this or that. Like he literally does that. He'll show you 10, 20 snakes in a certain category, and that's what he'll post a video about. This is a clown, this is leopard, this is a bell, this is the types of bells.
But he has 30 channels. He probably has his other 29 watching the one, boosting the hours.
Yeah, he he was just on
channels. That's the advantage of it. You could use them to boost your other channels.
Yeah, he was just talking about that a week or two ago with David from Ball Python Love, and talking about how he had like 30 channels. I think I'm subscribed to like 3 of them or something like that. But whatever he's doing, man, like he's pretty strategic. I don't know if he's necessarily like pushing every single channel the way that, you know, he could be, but 30 channels, that's a lot to manage. Like I couldn't even do 3, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I would love to get with Chris. No, yeah, I would love to get with Chris, talk to him, see what he's doing. Like, I think it was on David's live too. I'm like, hey, Chris, like I live pretty close. I'll come up on the weekends and, you know, help clean your facility, do this or that, whatever you need. I know he's got like horses and things like that too. It's like, bro, I'll just learn from you. You know what I mean? Like, I think from a lot of the people that I know locally, he kind of gets a bad rap just because he'll take risks and do sort of like sketchy things, but you know, here and there. But I think he knows what he's talking about. He's not like the biggest breeder, but as far as like YouTube and things like that go, like I don't think there's anybody really. Like I think Chris Hardwick comes up before Brian Barczyk if you just type in, you know, basic terms for like a new breeder. Like if you're a new breeder,
there's anybody selling what Chris Hardwick is selling and making it.
Yeah,
like that guy's selling the most basic stuff and still doing it. But
exactly, he's not into like super heavy stuff. If you look at his collection, he's got.
I wanted a Chris Hardwick snake, and then I looked at him and I was like, "Oh man, there's nothing really that's like, oh wow."
They're good beginner snakes, though. I mean, they're good beginner snakes.
Yeah,
he's just killing it.
After all of this stuff that he has taught each and every one of us, you would think he would have some bangers in there, just throwing them out.
Isn't that interesting? Because he's only got I feel like he's mostly working with like incomplete dominant type stuff. He has, I don't even know. I don't even know if I've seen like a clown from him or anything. Like he's working with
have clowns. I think he worked clowns in this year. He had a couple clutches of them, but there's not much.
But it's not like you're gonna compare him to any of the big guys. But at the same time,
we don't have nothing like Canova has.
No.
Yeah.
Later, Stan. Have a good night. I appreciate you.
Night, Stan.
But man, it's crazy because like it's I guess it's almost like quality over quantity. You know what I mean? It's like you can put out a really good product, but maybe not a lot of people are going to know about it or buy it. You know, like maybe like a mom and pop shop, but then you go to like a bigger franchise or something like that, and they might be putting out, you know, product that's not as good, but they have advertising and marketing and they're good with social media and this or that. I think that's what Chris does is like, I think you talk to any ball python breeder and they know who Chris Hardwick is. And they might know, you know, Brian Barczyk and, you know, Justin Canova or Justin Kobylka, but you know, like, I think that especially if you're new, he's definitely made it easy for us to learn.
Yeah, there's one good decision that I just randomly made, and I bought the right snake from the right person. But Marcus from Morphologics, when we had him on, Like I have a black pewter het pied from him, and his black pastel line's been doubled up, tripled up, and hardly has any kinks. So, and he don't do nothing special. It's like 86 or 89.6 degrees, and his stuff turns out fine. So, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
really excited about that line of black pastel.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I love black pastel, man. Like, especially what it does and like albino stuff. I mean, it does a lot of great things, but like you add it to any albino line, it just makes it crisp and pop and like, dude, I love black pastel. That's something I definitely need to get in my
I
collection
want to see
soon.
a super black pastel clown.
See, I do not know much about super black pastel. Like, I feel like I
No one's
should.
done much with super black pastel because it has the kinks. Like,
That's
people have
what
kinky
you're talking
spots.
about. Gotcha. Okay. See, I probably have heard that before, but I really did. I don't know much about it. But yeah, if it has kinking, I can see why people want to avoid it. I guess you know what I mean. Like it makes sense. But I mean, I imagine it's beautiful.
But yeah, I haven't seen a super black pastel clown even made yet, and that's just like, man, that just seems like something I'd want to do. I mean,
Oh
like that
yeah.
was one of the snakes I
All right.
wanted to hit right from the get go.
Hmm.
So, say 3 years from now, John, what is the best snake you can hope to make in 3 years?
Oh my God. All right, 3 years. With what I've
Super
got,
gravel Watchmail clown.
well, man, 3 years.
I was like, shut up, kid.
So let me ask you this. Can I buy a breeder female?
Anything, whatever.
You
Okay.
can do whatever you want to do.
All right.
I mean,
so
I'm just saying, in 3 years, what do you plan on? Like, what
Yeah.
is going to be your baddie that you make? You know?
oh my God. So I have a male that I just picked up probably like a couple of months ago at a reptile show. He's a double het, but he's a double het puzzle ultra male. Imagine if I could plug him into a female puzzle, female ultra male, make some het puzzles, make some het ultra males. But that's kind of a long game. You know what I mean? It's like I would definitely have to find somebody that's getting rid of a breeder puzzle, a breeder ultra male. But then like if you want to, I would love to work with those genes. I would love to plug those into lavender. But I guess as far as what I'm looking at right now is in 3 years, I really want to make oh man, I don't think it's gonna take 3 years, bro. I told you guys I want to make a leopard puma lavender. I would love to do that. I don't think it's been done. I know, Ken, I think you said you're working on something similar. But I think that's
not the spark versions though. I'm working on highways and freeway lavenders and pavement
oh my
lavenders.
gosh. Yeah, dude. I think that's an awesome direction to go. Man,
Another lab that I'd like to see is a purple passion lab. See what that looks like.
Yeah, I think lavender is interesting because I haven't seen, I know I go back to this, but I haven't seen a lot of stuff done with it. Like I talked to one of my buddies who's been doing, ball python breeding for a while now. And he told me lavender's been out for like 20 years. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think people are making it. But I don't see a lot for sale. Like, yeah, I mean, there might be a couple hundred lavenders on for sale, but they're mostly just dreamsicles, and they're just like,
there's a lot of the same stuff.
If they're not dreamsicles, if they're not dreamsicles, they're just like codoms, like leopard and things like
there's
that.
not a whole lot being done.
There's not even many codoms that are.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like
So,
three or
right
four
now-
there's like 3 or 4 codoms that are plugged in that blackhead, leopard, some yellow belly if you can identify it.
I've seen a couple mystics, and there was a Mojave one. I don't know. I look at Morph Market all the time. So
yeah, and I've seen.
I have this theory that if you take spot nose and yellow belly and put it with just about anything else, it becomes awesome just about instantly.
Sure, I can see that.
I think my leopard clown's got yellow belly in it. I thought it was OD, but the more I look, it just looks like a yellow belly leopard.
Yeah.
It don't look yellow belly to me, girl.
So at first, when
I didn't get what you said, Shane. What'd you say?
He don't look yellow belly to me, bro. He's too green.
He does have a little bit of a green tint to him.
So Ken thinks all of your snakes are green. Sorry. Everything has a green tint to it.
That's pretty funny. So I've seen the first clown lavender that I saw, I did not like it at all. I don't know. It was probably from a smaller breeder. It's like, oh, this is crap. And then I can't remember if it was one of the bigger breeders, like maybe Canova, Will Banks, or somebody. I can't remember. They made a clown lavender that looked amazing. And I could see me going that direction, but when I'm going into lavender, I want those high contrast, like yellows and oranges, and then I want those whites to just pop. But then I see a lot of lavenders that are babies, and they're like just orange and like faded and like just. So I'm trying to go towards those high contrast sort of lines. I mean, if you're working with albino, you want to work with like albino, like black pastel, lavender, plug those like darker genes into it, and I think that's what really gives you that contrast. But yeah, I just haven't seen people doing a lot with it. Like I think there is like an acid lavender out there, which is interesting. Okay, so kind of I'm like thinking on a side tangent, but I don't understand why acid and confusion are so expensive. Like maybe like why? It's an incomplete dominant trait. Like it makes no sense.
Wookie.
Yeah.
I want a Wookie real bad, and I'm not paying that price for it yet.
Yeah, but you can't afford it. Yep, exactly.
I mean, I could save to get it, but I'm just not paying that. I'm not paying like over $500 for a single or codom animal.
Yeah. I mean, in 3 years, 5 years, you know that price is going to go way down because everybody wants.
By the time I grow it up and get it into something, I won't get that price out of it, so it's not worth it.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so I have a acid pastel pinstripe.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's almost a breeding size, so I think you'll be able to hit the rear end of the acids being expensive.
She's for sure going to be breeding. By next year, she'll be for sure breeding. And most likely, I'm either... Yeah, most likely I'm going to end up putting her to my spot nose clown.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make some hets and then breed the baby back to the dad.
For sure.
Or
all right.
I might have some female clowns to put with that baby, depending. All
right, both you guys. And it's like sort of on the same tangent, sort of. But if you guys could add any sort of gene, recessive, incomplete, dominant, whatever you want, to your collection, what would it be? Like, money is not an issue. It could be monsoon. It could be freaking whatever you want. Like, what would your future breeding projects like? Let's say you got the money in 5-10 years and you could like take your projects to a certain direction. Like, would you take it a certain way?
I would say monsoon isn't a bad one, especially since I do have that acid pinstripe one that kind of looks like a little monsoon anyways. Put that with the monsoon, acid monsoon. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Also, Stranger. I like Stranger, and that needs to be in my collection.
Yeah, I've seen some good Stranger stuff for sure.
Ken likes Wookie.
Wookie's nice, man.
Some kind of sick Wookie, like a Wookie clown tri-stripe or something like that. Like, something insane. If money's not an issue, I'm going for the moon. I'm going for Skittles or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, that rainbow.
Yeah, rainbow wouldn't be bad either. Like a rainbow clown, like a Wookie rainbow clown. That would be. Yeah, that would be it. That just, you said rainbow and it was like.
Yeah, dude, my mind just exploded, bro. For real. Yeah. I think rainbow is the next sort of line of albino. It's the next like contrast, like. Yeah. It's definitely, and you look back and even probably 2 years, probably even less than that. Like in 1 year from now, 2 years, rainbow is going to be like outdo I think it's going to outdo the lavender. It's probably going to be bigger than any axanthic line you could think of. I think it's going to push. I don't think clown or pied will ever go away, but like I think it's the next big recessive. I just don't like. I think people say that it doesn't look as good with age, but that's a lot of genes. I mean, I think people will find something that works with it. Yeah.
Well, look at all the albino trends. When they come out, they do hot, and then they're hot for like 5 years, and then they fall off.
Yeah.
So I picture that's what's going to happen to rainbow. It's going to get hot for 5 years and go through the roof.
Here's the thing,
and then it's going to go down soon later.
It's only going to be as hot as it is for a while until somebody makes something that is just mind-blowing. And then all of those things are just skyrocketed like crazy, and it's going to be the trend for a while, you know? So, I mean, heck, guys, if somebody made some kind of crazy pastel, all of a sudden, all the pastels are back in, you know?
100%.
Like,
yeah. I 100% agree with that, man.
If Canova comes out with something crazy with pastel in it, then pastel's going to get hot.
Yep,
it's that simple.
I don't remember where I heard this. It was like probably last night or 2 nights ago. Somebody was talking about like, are you going to raise prices because Canova came out with this awesome combo? And they're like, no, I'm not going to raise prices, you know, whatever. But it's like, if Canova puts out a video that's like, all right, you know, this combo works, like, it's like that changes the market. He's so influential. It's insane.
It must be nice to be that influential.
Well, here's the thing,
that's crazy, and it doesn't flex.
Also, he's the same kind of guy that'll go to a show, and if you have something that is new, that's crazy, and you're like, I was thinking 30 racks, he'll pay you that 30 racks for it. You know, like he puts money back into the community at the same time to keep people making new stuff, and there is still incentive no matter what. Brian Barczyk does that same thing. That's the one thing I don't see Chris Hardwick doing. Chris Hardwick ain't out there buying no $30,000 snakes, and both of those other guys are.
Yeah. I think it's
something to think about as far as who supports the reptile community. It's like, Chris Hardwick has absolutely gotten us like to all understand the genes and get here and get there, but at the same time, I don't know that he does like do the most support in the hobby. You know?
Yeah, I think with Chris Hardwick. And just from my perspective is that he's got so many different side projects going on. He's got like his motorcycles, he's got his horses, he's got his ball pythons. He wants to do so many different things that it's hard for him to keep up and focus on one thing. And I think like he's very strategic with it, with what he does, but like if he's not about to spend $10,000 on a snake, I just don't see it.
Right.
No, I don't see Hardwick doing it.
No, but I think that he probably could. He probably might. He probably has the money maybe to do it, but he's just not doing it.
And I think you know, it does kind of. I don't know, because he's kind of one of the reasons on why we're all trying to make these crazy combos. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Jose? And Solo's still here. What's up? I don't think I said hi to you, Patty. I'm so sorry. But yeah, man, it's interesting. I think every breeder has a different perspective, and they kind of like want to take a certain route that they want to go. And you know, there's people that are willing to invest in a high-end animal that like maybe in 3 years that price is going to be like, you know, a third of what they paid for it. You know what I mean? But like they have a vision for it and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of risky because, okay, so get this. So my first ball python was a spark female. My second ball python, I'm pretty sure, was the Banana Mojave Fire, that male that made a clutch for me. And literally at the show, he was sitting next to a pastel scaleless ball python. When I saw the scaleless ball python for the first time, I freaking like basically freaked out. I'm like, I have to have it. Listed $1,800. It was even more for the female. And I ended up going on a payment plan for him, which is freaking crazy. Like literally, I was paying him off for like the longest time. And then I started this reptile job, which was only part-time, minimum wage. I freaking got myself in so much debt. I couldn't make my payments on them. So now I owe like $3,000 on him for an $1,800 snake. The price for him now is like $1,100. And so it's like, man, like literally within 6 months or a year, I saw that price drop almost $1,000. Like Will Banks is making stuff that's like, you can buy a pastel, like whatever, yellow belly, freaking this, that, like scaleless. And he's selling them for like $1,000, 1,100, 1,200 max. Like whether you want a male or female. And it's like, that happens to people. They invest like thousands of dollars into something. And then like a year or two later, it's like hit the floor. You know what I mean? And I think that price is still going down, but I'm still excited for my pastel because he's a pastel scaleless, but I've seen the clutch that he was like bred with or whatever. And so he's a pastel scaleless, possible yellow belly. And he's also, I would say he's like 99% micro scaleless. Like I've seen his sisters, and there's only one other scaleless in his clutch, and she looked basically the same, just a female version. But then his other sisters that weren't scaleless, they're like got like missing vents. Their scales are like tinier. And so like if he proves out yellow belly and micro scaleless, like dude, I actually think I might have won on that, because like micro scaleless, like it cleans up that pattern, it adds a little bit of brightness, I feel. And like I've seen his sisters compared to like all the other snakes that I was working with at the shop. Anytime I open those tubs, like you can just tell, oh, that's the microscalus. Like, and so I'm really excited about that. Like, I know people don't like scaleless snakes, like fully scaleless. But I think that microscalus is something that, like, I don't know, might make, I don't know, man. I'm waiting for that first like gravid female, but it kind of sucks to like get into something and then realize later that no females are laying eggs and this and that. I think it's like the keratin and this and that, but like I would just love to make some microscale stuff. Like that's different in itself. Nobody's really working with it except for like Nerd and stuff, but it's interesting. I have hope for him. You know, I think he's something I'm never going to sell, especially considering I invested so much money with him. But yeah, I hope he proves out yellow belly. I think I might get him genetic tested. I've got like a shed or two saved up, and but yeah, man, if he proves microscales, I would love to plug that into everything. Like
if your
just
sheds
about
are old,
everything.
they're not good to test. You got to have a fresh shed.
Like how old?
More than a week old is not good. You got to
No
get
way.
it there early. Yeah. You got to get it there. Like as soon as he sheds, get it in that bag, get it in the envelope and send it out. That's your best results.
See, yeah, I didn't know that. Is that why you think
it's on when you read like on Morph Market of the procedures? That's what they tell you to do, and they tell you the older your shed is, the less likely the test will be, correct.
So okay, so I know Will from Will's Hella Heat has been talking a lot about that. He's been saying like, oh, this person had 100% het clown, like clown to whatever, and like then you make these het clowns. And he's like, oh, they come back negative, like for clown, like, which doesn't make sense at all. It's a clown, or it's a het clown, and they're coming back negative. So like, maybe that's the issue.
I don't know. I don't know the circumstances around it, but it had to have been either human error that was running the test, or the sheds were too old, in my opinion. I mean,
well, there's always a chance of error happening. However, Marcus from Morphologics in our video, in our behind the scales thing, was actually talking about it with us, and he broke it down to us as a positive. Say that the test came back them being positive for het clown. Okay. You're never gonna find out that later the test was wrong and they're not het for clown. It can sometimes be wrong for them not being het for clown, but it's never wrong. Whenever it says they are, then they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you get a negative, it's not a guarantee that it's a negative. But if you get a positive, it is a guarantee to be a positive. You know
Makes
what I'm
sense.
saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, that way it's like just because you don't necessarily get that genetic doesn't necessarily mean anything. In that test, it didn't come back with that gene. It still could prove out later to have that gene. However, if something does come out, yes, it's positive for this gene, you can put your money on it. It is, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So I guess that would be a good question for you guys is, are you guys planning to do genetic testing or in the future, or is there anything that you feel like you want to send in for a test right now?
Not right now with my collection. I'm pretty set on my pairings, and if mine prove out, my doubts will prove out. But anything else, I mean, that I make, if Ultramel comes out, I'm going to have a 50% Ultramel clutch that I might want tested because I'd want to keep, of course, the ones that come out had Ultramel.
Yeah.
But I mean, I plan on using it, I guess, here and there, but just nothing right now.
Yeah, really only on the POS het stuff. If it's 100% het, there's no sense in me even testing.
No,
it.
not at all. Not at all.
Know? But I do have like so my male het puzzle, he's a pastel OD Enchi het puzzle, POS het hypo. I would like to get him tested for hypo. And then I have Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Red Stripe, 66% het for clown. But honestly, I'm going to breed him irregardless, so it doesn't really matter for him too much. Because I'm going to put him to a visual clown female no matter what. So even if he doesn't produce something, all the babies will be 100% het.
Yeah.
But I do have a normal that is named Captain Hook, and man, he's got all types of crazy tracks all over him and a different pattern. And
he's just a weird looking normal.
Yeah, he's a real weird looking normal. So you know, I'd like to test him just to see what's in him. But most of the stuff, I'm not really gonna be too worried about it because they're getting paired no matter what. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like
that's what I mean. My stuff now, I bought, you know, things to pair with each other. So, like, if they prove out with the extra, like the 50% or the 66% that was extra on top of things, then hey, cool. If not, oh well. You know, I didn't buy it for that anyways. I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I mean, if I get some like some POS hets or something out of a clutch, like anything I'm trying to hold back, I might try to, you know, get those tested. But I'm not going to test something that I'm going to sell because then I'd have to put that price of testing onto the price of the snake.
Yeah,
you know, and what if the person didn't care about that?
For sure, and that's
that gravel to the ivory clutch, like the ivory het clown and the gravel double het clown ultramel. I'm going to want to know which ones are ultramel. If I can't see, like I'm going to want to know.
Well, see, that's what
if I make a highway clown that's had ultramel, that would just be like,
ooh. Oh my God, bingo!
I'm going to be freaking
jackpot for sure. Yep, and that's how it is with my het puzzle, het ultramel. Like I know there's an ultramel test. I'm pretty sure there's not.
I don't think it's out yet. I mean,
for real?
I could be wrong. But I don't think it's out yet.
I thought there was, but anyways, I would love to test him for puzzle ultramel. I don't think the puzzle test is out. I'm like 100%, like 90%. Yeah, I honestly think somebody is doing an ultramel test, but I want to test him for at least
puzzle for sure. Though.
Yeah, I want to test him for ultramel, because like, yeah, I mean, imagine you have a gene like that and you can plug him into these females. And you know that there's going to be some het stuff in there. And then if you're trying to hold back your females only, you can test your 3 or 4 females. And it's kind of expensive, but if you know that they're ultramel, then you can make a decent profit, or at least know that in the future you're going to make some ultramels, POS het puzzles or this or that or whatever. And I know that if he's probably positive, so I bought him from dubiaroaches.com at a show, and he was like, I think 125 or something like that. And I asked the dude, I asked him like 3 different times. I'm like, hey, are you sure this is Het Puzzle, Het Ultramel? Like, what was the breeding pair and this and that? And it's like, oh, it was a visual Ultramel to a visual puzzle. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yes. I'm like, do you have any females available? Because I want to buy females too. And he's like, well,
at this price, if the males are this price, what are the females?
Exactly, bro. And he's like, yeah, we have some females, but they're back at the facility and this and that. And so I messaged dubiaroaches.com. They literally never got back to me. But I think that if he proves out for either of those genes, that they're probably telling me the truth on what the Hets are. And they're a reputable company. So like,
well, that's the thing is they are a big company, so it's not something that like, it's like, oh, they probably don't have puzzle for real or something. But I mean, them being a big company, they probably do have puzzle and Ultramel. So
yeah. And so, I'm excited to put him into stuff, and he does look a little bit different than like a normal. Actually, fuck. Excuse my language. Let me just pull him out. Come here, buddy.
I bought a male Het Clown Het Lab and 66% Het Pied, and he has crazy pie tracks. So
nice. Hold on, let me. I'm literally gonna pull myself up here really quick. Sorry, guys, but I mean, for the most part, he looks normal. But then he's got this. Where is it at? The one thing that makes me. The one thing that makes. Oh yeah, like right here. He's got this little J right there. And I'm like, oh, crap. Well, maybe he's got something going on. But, like, for the most part, he looks pretty normal. But he's got some bright colors on him, which makes me think he's at least, like, Het Ultramel or something.
Yeah, he's pretty bright. How much does he weigh? About 300?
I don't know, man. My scale is dead. It's actually like a USB sort of charger type thing. And I need to figure that out.
Looks about 300 or so.
I weighed him probably like 2 months ago. Oh crap! I don't want that.
Got one. What you bringing out? Ken?
Hold on. Let me put
that triple Het that I bought.
Is Tamara still in the
possible triple Het?
See if Tamara's still in the chat. If so, Tamara, come bring out Captain Hook.
There we go.
Oh, all right.
Let me see what you got. Snake time, guys. Yeah, we haven't shown anything off tonight.
See how orange he is? He's got a lot of like tracking and
yeah.
My phone's going dead.
Oh man, no.
That's the first time he didn't try to strike at me.
Yeah, I have this
5%.
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh, we've been on for 2 hours.
Is not what I wrote at all in the chat, guys. That came out weird. I said, Tamara, bring Captain Hook, and it came out like that.
Man, do you need to go or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll stay on until it dies.
Shoot. So let me pull this up here really quick. So I got this import supposedly, and let's see. Look at these freaking tracks, bro.
Yeah, it's got some tracks.
That is a solid track.
Solid, Sharpie solid.
Oh,
like, literally all the way down the freaking body, bro.
Oh yeah.
And this is just a dinker, supposedly, like an import. And I literally got her for free from this guy that he gave me 3 imports. And I paid shipping. I paid like $45 shipping. And I'm really excited about her. And then I got this other one. She's going to bite me. Who has literally another freaking dinker. Solid freaking dorsal the whole way down.
Yeah.
Amazing.
See, I don't know.
Color.
I thought about working dinker projects, but I'm just not sure.
Yeah, it's a risky sort of thing because I think that with
so
even with like
as well?
yeah, Yep.
That's sweet.
Supposedly, you know, secondhand, but yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's I'm really excited about the one I just showed you with that dorsal. Oh man, dude, like so I've thought about this. I really hope you don't die, Ken. Shane, if you're still on, I hope you can stick with me. But so if she proves out, I want to name that genetic or that gene kukri. It's like sort of like blade, like clown, but it's like kukri.
Yeah.
Like, you guys know what a kukri is? It's like a knife or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a curved knife and everything.
Right.
And I thought about it,
Yeah.
man.
I know, right?
That'd be pretty awesome to name. Oh shoot, crap! I was getting a call from somebody who wants to buy a snake for me. Oh man.
I tell you
But
what,
anyway,
the
yeah, I'd
genes,
like to maybe name it like kukri or something like that. Something to do with like the sort of like blade type stuff.
Yeah.
seeing people
You guys
out
can
there
hear me?
who
Oh
got their
crap!
own
Hold
genes.
on. Crap, my audio is not working. I'm so sorry, guys.
We can hear you.
That when he called
Yeah.
me, it messed up my settings.
I hear you.
Oh, dude, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crap!
time.
Hold on.
He's
He
like,
can't hear
I
crap.
don't know. Shoot, that messed up everything.
That's why you got to put on Do Not Disturb.
Bro. I can't hear you guys at all. I'm so sorry, man. Freaking Facebook calling me and everything, dude.
That's why you put Do Not Disturb on.
He can't hear you, Ken.
I
Let me
thought he
see
could
if I can get out. Oh no, I don't want to end the broadcast. I don't know what to do, guys. Crap. Give me 1 second. That.
Uh-oh, I think Ken's gone. I'm the only one left. Hey, everybody, I'm Shane from Hets and Tails. How's everybody in the chat? Great, nice to hear. Let's look and see. 905 Royals, awesome to see you. Solo Butterfly, awesome to see you as well. Everybody abandoned me. I'm here on John's channel.
Oh, there we go.
Holding it down.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm so sorry about that.
You're good, bro. I was holding it down for you.
Yeah. Did I cut out or what happened?
No, actually, we heard you the entire time. It was.
I could not hear you guys at all.
It
looks like
I think Ken's gone, bro. He died.
Yeah. That sucks, but that's all right, man. You have a time limit or anything like that, or you got to head out?
Yeah. I kind of got to go and do some stuff with the kids and stuff before bed and all that. So.
For sure. Gotcha. So okay. So I'll let you go. What does your family look like? Like, what's it like at home? Do they help out? Like, your kids into that stuff?
The 14-year-old, my 14-year-old stepson, he doesn't help out too much with the snakes. He does whatever I make him, but like he never is proactive with it.
Yeah.
The 8-year-old Rain, she is all about helping. Every day she comes home like, "What are we doing? What can we do?"
Yeah. Nice.
Only thing is, every time she anything she cleans, I have to clean again. You know, like she wants to help, just like kind of makes a bigger mess doing it. So
yeah.
But one day she'll get there. She'll be able to just scrub it down, no problem, and hopefully, when I die, she'll take over.
I feel that, man. Man, so I know Ken's gone and everything. I know you got to go. But let me ask you this, so we can kind of wrap it up. Is there anything that you would like to leave with anybody who's trying to get into the ball python industry, or any advice, anything that you've learned that you would like to pass down to anybody?
Yeah, there's a few things. One, I would say, if you are going to get into ball pythons, now is a good time. It's a buyer's market. Prices are low and they always come back up. Secondly, always invest in a good thermostat. That's a big thing. Invest in a good thermostat.
100%. I'm gonna cut you off really quick. So I made the mistake maybe like 6 months ago of I ran out of thermostat space. I had one ball python that I had just bought. It was a blade something heck clown. I can't remember 100%. Freaking fried her. I screwed up. So if you don't have a good thermostat, or if you think that you can get by without a thermostat, you're completely mistaken. Make sure you have a good thermostat because it will save your collection. I was really excited about that girl, and probably like a month, 2 months in, she was just in her hide, all coiled up, dead. And it kind of sucks to admit a mistake like that, but you know, she was my mistake. Don't make that mistake, guys, because your animals, even if you only pay like $100 or $200 for them, like,
yeah, it sucks to lose an animal in general. It could have been free. It still sucks, you know?
Yep.
And then thirdly, the last thing is, well, never mind. I'll leave it at 2. The third one.
Yeah, you're good, man.
I was going to say, go ahead and start a YouTube channel, but now we're getting crowded, so I don't know. No,
I honestly think that's super important. If you want to, I'll say this from your comment to my perspective, is if you want to be successful in this, guys, we live in a world that is like almost like 90% social media. If you want to make your brand known, you're not going to be able to do it without a YouTube, without a Instagram.
Right.
TikTok can get you quick views really quick. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok, but I do use it and I get a good response on it. But if you're trying to build a brand, it's going to be hard for you, especially starting out, to do it underground. You're not going to be able to really promote yourself. You're not going to be able to get plugged into the community. You're not going to find out who's in your local area without using social media. And that's probably for any sort of thing or any sort of product. But if you're trying to get into ball pythons, even bearded dragons, this or that, there's a community for you. I think the reptile community is probably one of the most accepting and positive sort of communities that you could get into. So I definitely recommend, if you're watching this, start a YouTube, start an Instagram for sure. Start an Instagram. Make sure you have an Instagram. Post pictures. Try to be religious about it, which I'm not the best at. But there's these things called algorithms, and unfortunately, we gotta kind of stick to them. So that's why I have my lives every Monday night at 6 p.m. if I can, unless there's a conflict with my guests. But otherwise, man, guys, get plugged in. Do your best. Get a logo. There's people that I thought have been breeding for like 10, 20 years that just have a nice logo, and they've only been breeding for like 1 or 2 years. And it's because I noticed who they are as a brand. They've been establishing their brand. And if you don't do that, like I did, I literally just got my logo for probably about like 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. And ever since then, it's been a radical change. So make sure you guys have an awesome logo, an awesome concept behind your brands. And yeah, guys. So I will say this, and I'll let you go, Shane. And thank you, Ken, for being on the show. I know you're still watching. But next week I have one of my friends from Space Lizard Exotics. He owns a couple of dwarf caimans, green tree pythons. He's kind of into a whole different realm. But he's got 3 dwarf caimans, I believe, and he's got a really big presence on social media. He's been killing it with TikTok. Killing it with like Instagram, stuff like that. So you guys tune in next week, and we've got some great guests, following him as well. So I appreciate everybody for joining. If you're still watching, make sure you like, subscribe, comment to this video, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much, Shane. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a good night, guys.